What's up, guys? Welcome back. We'll give it a minute for people to join. I can update some stuff here. And we're going to go over a few things with Karmelo while this just plays in the background. Look at that nasty car accident. Ooh. I think he's going to give a recap to the California incident. So we'll just give a second here. Let me set up the live. I want to do something. Oh, perfect timing too. Watch that too. Perfect timing. I guess they're still searching for that suspect that apparently shot at police, I believe. Some type of altercation. These three cars were in a car accident and somebody took off. They found that person. He was in boxers, almost half naked. And this other situation that took place, somebody, while they were looking for the guy with the car crash, somebody else had an issue with cops. They fired at him. And they're still searching for that person, I believe. All right, so I think we're ready to kind of start. Let me see. Do we have this? We got this one. We got this one. I got one more clip I want to pull up. We can start. One more clip. Okay. So let's talk about the topic. Karmelo Anthony. If you don't know the story, you've been under a rock. You've been under a rock if you don't know the story. Okay, there was Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, and they were under the tent at this track thing, and Karmelo Anthony stabbed him. Okay, there's no real debate about him stabbing him. Now, people, he wasn't supposed to be there under the tent, and so Austin had told Karmelo, "Hey, you gotta go," and allegedly, he didn't want to leave. And so Karmelo had told Austin, because they were arguing back and forth, if you touch me, see what happens. So, like, reach into his backpack. And I guess he went to try to move him or lift him or whatever, and he stabbed him in the heart. So people are saying that there's some people out there saying that he deserved it. People are saying that Austin deserved it, and people are happy. They're cheering. They're celebrating. They're basking in this person's death. Salivating. This is the highlight of their life and moment of, I guess, in somebody's death. And so let me show you some clips before we get to the press conference. Take in his words. Okay, let's see how they see us.
So y'all don't care about this Austin Metcalf, Karmelo Anthony situation. Y'all just need an excuse to be y'all's natural, hateful selves. Y'all are so insecure and have such a guilty conscience about what y'all have done and what y'all continue to do to this world that when people call y'all out, y'all get defensive. But let's just face the facts. Every single country has a story about how the European American has came to their country and ruined it. Y'all are the problem of this world. So y'all don't care about this.
Y'all are the problem of this world. me play another clip here. This lady was from earlier.
And to be honest with you, I blame Austin motherfucking parents for not teaching him not to bully and mistreat people just because they skin color. Okay? We wouldn't even be having this conversation if y'all didn't push that white privilege shit on your son. And you clearly see that they've been bothering that boy for him to be walking around with a pocket knife. They had to been bullying him, and he was tired of that shit. People get tired of being bullied. You think kids just walk around with pocket knives for nothing? No, he was tired of Austin and fucking with him.
TikTokers have spoken. They are upset. They're cheering. This lady here.
Y'all not gonna make me believe or feel any kind of sympathy for Austin Metcalf at all. He put his hands on that young man when he should have kept them hands to himself. When the young man told him, touch me and see, you bet not touch me, that meant that I don't want you in my space. I don't want you touching me. Rosa Parks days is over. You cannot think that you can move somebody out of a seat that you don't own and think that it's going to be okay. And you can't determine how I'm going to retaliate on you when you put your hands on me in an aggressive manner. Austin Metcalf got exactly what he deserved.
Damn.
Point blank, period. It's time out for feeling sorry for somebody's feelings or feeling emotional about somebody's feelings. Austin Metcalf should have kept his damn hands to himself. Point blank, period.
So the thing is, they keep, and I really, this thing has become a race thing. And I don't think it has anything to do with those two. I don't think it had anything to do with race. Whatever happened, I don't think it had to do with race. But, online has made it about race. TikTok, some of the media, it's become a race thing. And I don't even think this started with race. I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know why he bought that knife. But listen, I was sent this press conference thing, NGAN, or Next Generation. NGAN stands for Next Generation Justice for All, Next Generation Action Network. Okay. It's right there. Okay.
Alrighty. So real quick, I want to start off by saying real quick that my comments are represented today by the Next Generation Action Network. That have been working with the Anthony family from the advocacy standpoint.
So they're working for advocacy.
I'm not the Anthony family attorney. Of course, the Next Generation Action Network is no stranger to this line of work. And we have been representing families for the last 10 years from an advocacy standpoint to get to the bottom of this situation. The Next Generation Action Network, since the past week, have gotten thousands of calls regarding this situation and making sure that our organization was involved in this situation because of the growing tension of racism and bigotry involving with the case. I want to start off by saying that I appreciate the Deputy Chief, John Stretch, from being able to come here to meet with us, as well as the Assistant Police Chief, Darren Stevens. These are two individuals who are currently over the investigation that is currently going on in Frisco ISD. Of course, let's start off in the proper way. I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as president and founder of the Next Generation Action Network, the largest human and civil rights organization in North Texas. Today, we had a meeting with the leadership of the Frisco Police Department to discuss the matter of urgency in escalating racial threats and bigotry and online hate directed at the Anthony family.
Really?
Let me be clear.
Oh, I thought it was going to say for the Metcalf family.
The Anthony family cannot leave their home.
What?
Because of the growing threats towards their safety.
Really? Well, I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying, but I've seen a lot of people supporting Karmelo. I'm going to look at the GoFundMe too, because I think the Karmelos have surpassed the Metcalf donations. People are coming through and supporting. And so a lot of people are happy and gleeful. I haven't seen people cheering on, I don't know. I've seen people happy that Metcalf
their personal address has been exposed.
Oh.
They have received graphic and racist threats. They are being targeted with violence and simply because their child is in the center of this tragedy. We are here just This justice must be fair and impartial and protected from biases. We cannot allow racism and bigotry to divide us. We cannot allow white America to decide when and how Black people can speak up against oppression. We do not pull the race card, we live it. Yes, this case is a tragedy. Anytime a child is lost, we mourn as a community. Our heart goes out to the family of Austin Metcalf, but we do not erase the right of the Anthony family to be protected and heard and treated with dignity. That's why today we spoke with the Frisco Police Department leadership to demand answers. We need to know what steps are being taken to protect the Anthony family, the strategies of the threats that's being spreaded, and how Frisco Police is ensuring that Karmelo Anthony's Sixth Amendment right, a fair and public trial, is fully respected. Let's make it clear that absolutely we have the full permission and trust of the Anthony family and authorized for the Next Generation Action Network to speak today. Today in this meeting, we talked about and was able to give them graphic images of what this family has had to deal with for the last couple of days. It is sad. These graphic images not only display children with knives, Black children with knives stuck in their head, the Anthony family's address. We saw when this case first started that people were putting online that when Section 8 was accepted into the Frisco neighborhood, that became the lead of the downfall of Frisco. We have saw so many different hateful images, just hateful things. And the Next Generation Action Network wants to reiterate that Karmelo Anthony has a right to a fair trial, unbiased, and removed of racial hate and bigotry. I want to make it very clear, and I say this from my heart and my own personal reference. If someone wants to say race is not in this situation and shouldn't be, well, I asked all of those people to join me in calling it out. But don't look at Black people and say, don't always play the race card. We don't play the race card, we live it. We live a reality. We also feel that the bond that Karmelo Anthony is on is too high.
The 1 million.
We do. Because guess what? We've been here when Aaron Dean was arrested. We was here when Amber Geiger was arrested.
Oh, Amber Geiger, yes.
$200,000.
I covered that story.
The system, it has a problem in it. Now, what I want to be able to do is ensure, and what we was able to hear today from the Frisco Police Department is reassuring that the Frisco Police Department is doing everything that it can to address the racism and the bigotry. We have saw the police chief, a statement being sent out by the police chief that was false. We have saw a false autopsy report that was false. Mm-hmm. We have to caution the community to say, hey, we cannot trust everything that is online. The disinformation that is going online is hurting this case, and it has to stop. It has to stop, y'all. As we know it right now, Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony did not know each other.
There you go. So that's a big one. So listen, this is what I'll say too. I don't think the family should be harassed. I don't think people should target the family or like show up at their house or anything like that. I feel like people should be able to give their opinions and thoughts, you know, if they want to protest or whatever. I even think, because I saw some people upset with the fundraiser for Karmelo Anthony. I do believe that they have the right to do that. He has the right to do that. I also believe it, like for example, GoFundMe, they have some stipulations in place, so it's their right to make those stipulations. That's why the GoFundMe got shut down. But Give, Send, Go doesn't have those same stipulations, and so they have the right. If people want to donate and they're raising the money, that's their right. I may not agree with it, or maybe it feels like I'm sure it's maybe a slap in the face for the family, but that's their right. Now, I wanted to compare the Anthony Metcalf GoFundMe versus, let me see, where's the GoFundMe? I thought they had two though, but oh no, okay, look, they got 300K. Somebody was posting that, oh, Anthony's superseded whatever, Metcalf's and whatever. It's about the same. There is a lot. So this kind of even shows almost a divide almost. Look at that. So they're about to be at 300,000. 300,000. They're about to hit and it's actually exceeded. So Jennifer Coffindaffer, she made a post. Let me pull it up, because I was looking for the screenshot earlier and I couldn't find it, and I saw that she posted it. And so they've been increasing. They've been increasing honoring Austin Metcalf. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, they have two of them. I didn't realize they have two. Austin got two of them. Oh, hold on. Oh, so here's the original post. There you go. So her original post said their goal was 100,000 based on need. Now it's 300,000 for your consideration. Karmelo Anthony is accused of murdering Austin. Blah blah blah. Right. And so this is the 100,000, and then eventually, raised 150, 200, 300 now, and they're about to hit 300,000 now. And this has to be fair. They do have one that's almost 300,000 in funds for Austin's family, and there's another one too that's so actually Austin's is higher. There's another. They have two GoFundMes, so this one's almost at 150 and this one's at 300K for whatever it's worth. I don't know. So but that just shows you the divide, and that there is people that feel this is self-defense, and there's people that obviously feel that it's not. Huge divide.
They did not know each other. Let's stop
it. And that's a big thing. I'm glad that at least he can clarify that they didn't know each other. The bullshit autopsy report, a coroner's report that said it was MDMA. Okay, they were saying it was an overdose, and people just run with it. People just run. A bunch of people just run with whatever. At least just double check it if you're gonna really run with something, or just like an extra Google search or something. People just run with whatever.
They were not at a party together.
No party.
Let's stop the lies regarding this situation. We also know.
I agree, Nikki. Yeah.
That both Austin Metcalf, the twin brothers, were on the roster that day to be at that track meet.
Okay.
We also know that Karmelo Anthony was on the roster that day to be at that track meet.
So he's saying that Karmelo belonged there. There was some news situation said that he didn't. She said that he had cut school that day and that he didn't belong there. So he's saying Karmelo did. They all belong.
We know they both arrived, all of them arrived to this facility via the transportation of Frisco ISD. The lies has to stop, y'all. Far as the legal strategy, I'm not talking about that today because that's not my place. I'm not the lawyer. I think you guys have all had a statement in regards that the lawyers have asked for a bond reduction, and they will release that in the way. We are solely here because where racism and bigotry and hate arises, the Next Generation Action Network will be there and will respond to that hate. We will not allow our communities to go under attack. We know that when people see a white and a black man in an unfortunate situation happen, that race always become a factor in that situation. And it's really because people don't want to really have a conversation about racial reconciliation in this country. And the current climate that we live in, where racism and bigotry is at the forefront, we don't really want to have these conversations. And social media has been a stomping ground for people to be able to launch any disparity that they want to. And so, you know, our heart goes out to all who are involved. The Next Generation Action Network continues to restate that we are here to support this situation based on what we have seen. We want to continue to express Mr. Karmelo Anthony's grounds of where he has displayed self-defense. I think that in the next coming days, as you see the things going out in the courtroom, it will be displayed. But today's meeting was solely about the threats that have been going towards their home and ensuring that there is a fair and impartial investigation going on.
Yeah, I think they had a meeting with police today. And I really don't think police is just going to go off of social media, you know, like as far as like the false claims or the whatever, you know, they're going to have to go look for facts and witness accounts and stuff like that.
And I want the public to know that our organization, along with attorneys, are doing everything they can to make sure that race is not a factor in this case, ensuring and supporting like we've always done. And so I really appreciate the police chief coming to meet with us today to answer all of those questions that we have had. And so at this time, I'll just open it up for questions.
Okay, questions.
What exactly did you ask police to do, and what exactly did they tell you they would do, and is it enough?
Okay, break that down. Just give me that again.
What exactly did you ask Frisco police in your meeting today to do about these allegations of racism leveled against this family? What did you ask police to do about it? What did they say they were going to do about it?
It's so weird because I thought they were leveling racism against the Metcalf family. They were Tariq Nasheed called or suggested that Austin was a white supremacist, and I've seen a lot of posts around.
And is it enough?
What I've asked them to do is put an additional presence out there with this family around their home. They have ensured that they have had levels of communication, but for the family, it has been hard for them to know and trust everything because of all of the disinformation. And it made it hard for a lot of people to even trust law enforcement in this situation because of what was going on. It was one moment that we thought that the police chief made a statement regarding the case. Then we find out that's a lie, right? Yeah. The family saw an autopsy report, you know what I mean? Now, at the end of the day, because of my experience and growing up in the funeral home industry, I know that it's impossible to have an autopsy report, you know what I mean, something like that to be released in the matter of 2 days, right? So we was able to dispel that really quick, right? You know what I mean? And we knew that that was never going to be the avenue that the Collin County Medical Examiner would release that information, right? And so it made it very hard. So what we've asked them to do is increase their presence. We've asked them for a direct contact for the family to be able to send them the information that is when they're getting it, you know, that they have a point of contact to be able to do this. You know, their home address has been shared, you know what I mean? The hate, you know, there's a lot of stuff that people are saying in regarding their son that are false. You know what I mean? You would think, based on what is online, you would think that Karmelo Anthony is a person who is like, you know what I mean, a hooligan or somebody that doesn't have a home or structure or foundation or all of these different types of things. There's been a whole bunch of lies, like Karmelo Anthony was put out of his home days before. Just stupidity. They are all false and lies. And so, you know what I mean? It's just some of those things that the family knows and things that were expressed. Like, the family know they got to the bus to do that because Karmelo Anthony's car was at his school. You know what I mean? So it's these type of lies that is being expressed on social media that's making it hard for a lot of the family to even trust. So that's the reason why we had this meeting, to be able to ask, you know, answer any questions.
And just real quick though, but so what did police say that they were actually going to do? Are they going to increase
Yes.
protection for the
Yes.
family?
Yes. They accepted that. They did.
They did.
John, you said in the initial letter to the city that you raised serious questions about their thoroughness and fairness of the investigation, saying that you guys have spoken to coaches and other people that witnessed it and that they didn't follow up with them. Were you able to have that conversation with the assistant chief and resolve that?
I was able to have that question, and we were able to give those individual names up because the Next Generation Action Network do not want to interfere in the investigation. We're not going to release who they are, but we were able to have that conversation today. You know what I mean? That's what prompted them to even be able to come. And also, we not only talked about people who were speaking out like that had information regarding the case, we also reported people in official capacities, like people who are teachers, government officials that have used their own personal social media to placate in the hate and the false narratives that are coming out against Karmelo Anthony. And we were able to report that information to them regarding it.
Do you stand by that though, that did they acknowledge that some witnesses have not been contacted by police, or were you
To be exact, the Frisco Police Department was able to tell me that they have interviewed over 75 people, and it's ongoing. But they did acknowledge that there are people who have not been interviewed in regards to this case. They are aware of that. That wasn't, you know what I mean, like, based on the information that we were getting, it was very hard for us to be able to, you know, see what this investigation was going and how it was being together, because we didn't know what to trust. But we had to make sure that we get involved in this situation early so that we can ensure that this investigation is fair and unbiased.
Do you feel better after having this meeting that it will be a thorough and fair investigation?
I think the jury is still out. I think that, you know, they were able to come to me and be very sincere about it. I feel comfortable right now, but we just have to see, right? They did answer my questions. And so that's, you know, for now, I can only see what they do from here on out in protecting this family, in making sure that this investigation is going right, and pushing forward.
Do you plan to have a meeting with Anthony's family
Do I?
after this meeting? Do you plan to
Yes.
meet them and
I will have a discussion with them, with their family attorney too as well.
I assume you're going to be releasing some of these images or proof, or I don't know if the family's house has been targeted.
Yeah.
Are you going to be releasing anything to the media to support what you guys are saying?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I can
the one-
release
with the one
you
proof?
social media posts that have been
Yeah,
pushed
let's
out
check it
of
out.
their home. Yes.
Okay, with the 75 people they say they interviewed, did they say anything about video was
Yes.
recording?
They have collected video.
So it is video of the incident.
Yes, they have collected video.
Oh, video of the incident. Okay.
There's video of the actual stabbing.
There is video. There are several different video that they verified.
Really? Oh, okay. There's video of the incident.
Did the Anthony family obtain their attorneys through NextGen, or did they obtain them independently? Like,
The initial attorneys were obtained through our advocacy. Yes, correct. Of course, you know that one of the attorneys, Kim T. Cole, is the general counsel of our organization. And I believe they are adding more people to, when we got the case, it's about ensuring that the families have representation. We know that over the weekend, the courts, which is normal protocol, appointed an attorney. That is done by, I want people to know that's done by the courts. That's not done by the family. The gentleman that, and there's nothing he did wrong, the gentleman that presented himself as the attorney, at that time when he made those statements, he were the attorney of record. Until Monday morning, when the new attorneys was able to notify the courts that they were the attorneys of record hired and retained by Mr. Karmelo Anthony. That's when they go. And I know there was a lot of confusion as to who did the family hire and all those different types of things. And so for now, y'all, that's an ongoing process.
So what do we know that has been debunked? As far as like the cell phones getting broke, do we know that?
Yeah, is that bullshit? I think
I didn't ask about pretty much cell phone. What I can tell you is on the surface of being debunked is the fact that they did not know each other. There wasn't no, and I want to say this because there is a particular blogger that's getting a lot of views.
Ooh.
And it's very detrimental, the audience that they're getting, right? And that's the only reason why I justify in saying this on this press conference, because of the type of information that Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony had a fight the day before or a week before, or at this point, there's nobody.
And they both were on the roster to run.
There's nothing.
I learned a long time ago too that like these people that create all this stuff online and lie, they seem to get like a lot of views. People just, I don't know what it is. People just love a lie. You can just make shit up. The moment I do something wrong, people are like up my ass. I misspelled something in the title. I put an extra whatever letter. Yo, what the fuck, yo? These people straight up lie and do all kinds of shit all the time. You get all kinds of views and money and support and love. All kinds of fake shit, lie shit, all kinds of stuff. And it's shared and a bunch of subscribers and all this shit. All this shit. And then it comes out and it's not true. And then they just kind of shake and pivot or whatever and keep it pushing. Just like that Karen Reed bullshit. Well, I don't know why I said that. No, not really Karen Reed, but just in general with other stuff like this, with the whole fabrications of a lot of details that they were fighting already. They had gotten into a fight, an altercation, all this stuff,
At this time, that support that they knew each other, okay? You know what I mean? They are both athletes in the same school district. Of course, they probably know of each other, but they do not know each other, right? And so that's a lie. Like the pictures and I believe there was a picture that went on social media saying that this is Austin Metcalf and Karmelo, and that is a lie. So that's a false.
I saw that picture too. I believe it was Karmelo with some other white guy or whatever, but it wasn't the two people, Austin and Karmelo.
That's a false narrative. Anything else?
What do you say to people view these social media posts before they hit share or send it to all their friends and such?
I ask that people, if you're really trying to help, I ask that y'all continue to support this family. I know that the community has overwhelmingly support this family in the tragedy that has happened in this situation. But I ask that people, when they're sharing information, please verify the source of the information that you are sharing. Because if you're trying to help Karmelo, sharing false narratives is not helping. This situation is too delicate to be spreading false information. There are a lot of different things, people taking screenshots, and it's looking. In the day and age that we have with artificial intelligence, someone can take this sheet of paper and recreate it with our letterhead, with anybody's statement, and put it out. And that's very detrimental. So we've asked continuously, if you are posting something on social media, please verify your statement. I just want to say this, if there's no other questions, is there any other questions? No questions?
Dominique, I have
Yes.
two other questions. And these are more clarifying questions. You mentioned that the attorneys that have been retained were through the Advocacy organization. Can you talk a little bit more about what your relationship has been thus far with the Anthony family? And then the second question, can you speak to kind of your stance on the investigation at this point? I think the letter that was initially sent suggested that the investigation, as you saw it, was insufficient. I'm wondering if you still maintain that. You talked a little bit about that earlier, but just want to make sure I understand what the stance is.
So, like many people know, the Next Generation Action Network was founded in 2014. And after a situation happened like this and our organization gets involved with the case, there is protocol to be able to get them a proper representation, because our organization is an advocacy, a human and civil rights organization. So we cannot give a family legal advice, right? So there are appropriate protocols and people who are brought in to be able to do that. And of course, that's the family's decision to, go with that or whatever. And we just give them the options that they need to be able to make sure that their rights are protected, right? Like I said with her question, the jury is still out in regards to the investigation. And now they did give me a lot of clarity about some of the falsehoods that I didn't know wasn't true until I asked them, because there were so many different letters and so many different stuff that was going out on social media. I needed to hear them say the letter that was supposed to be put out by the police chief was false, right? And so, because I couldn't trust whether that was true because of how much hiding. I do share their concern that this case is like none other. I just feel like we're at that beacon of where we are in social media and artificial intelligence, where people can just do anything and just run rapid. I have saw platforms be used in this case that I never even knew existed, right? And so with that being said, that's pretty much it in regards to the investigation. I hope that I can see some in the coming days. I also told them, hey, if bullying, racism, and bigotry exist in this investigation, it's the responsibility of the police department to address this in their community. And so hopefully in the next coming days, we will see this. I know they have a job to do an investigation, and I don't want to impede in anything or speak in the legal matter for the Anthony family or in the legal matter of anybody in this situation, right? Our sole job today is from an advocacy standpoint in making sure that we give voice to the community. I'll end with this. And
Can I ask one question?
yes.
Why did this young man have a gun? Excuse me, why did this young man have a knife
Gun.
on him to begin with?
What do you mean gun? That's racist too. Why are you saying he's had a gun? He didn't have a gun.
And yes,
Why did this young man have a gun? Excuse me, why did this young man have a knife on him to begin with?
I cannot speak to that. I cannot speak to that in regards to that. I can't.
I would be really curious to know too, and if he would have been able to find out about the alleged previous suspension for having a knife in school.
I cannot. I can't speak to that because I believe that. First of all, even if I had the answer to that or whatever, I wouldn't say it because that's a part of his defense, and I think there's going to be an appropriate time where they're going to.
Young Hugh donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Great covers, chat too.
Thank you for the 10.
What's going on? What I can do is reiterate that Karmelo Anthony, from the beginning, has continued to display his self-defense claim, and I believe that in America, I always tell this, and I'm just going to speak truth to power in this situation. It is crazy that America tells us to accept the self-defense claim of George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, and so many other people.
Oh shit.
But when the shoe is on the other foot, that claim is absurd. And I just gotta call a spade, no matter what my personal views of a case may be. It is quite contradicting for America to come back and say, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse can have it, George Zimmerman can have it, all of these individuals that don't look like the color of my skin can't have it. In the state of Texas, we live in a state where yet you can walk around with a permitless carry, you can walk around with a brass knuckles, you can walk around with a knife, you can walk around with all these things. AK-47 in the state of Texas. And then as soon as you see a black person exercise those rights, we now have a problem. And that's not me spitting hate or race or bigotry. That's the facts. And like I put a statement, what we're not going to do after 400 years of oppression of black people in America is yet justify ourselves every time a situation comes up with one of our children. We want them to have those same rights that everybody else. We want him to have his same day in court as Kyle Rittenhouse. We want him to have his same day in court like anybody else. And he will have that. And he will put up the proper defense. And all of these questions will be answered. But the unfairness in this case is gross. And I think that the people in the community understands that.
Part alternation. Mark Mandy L donated $9.99 through Super Chat. He said it's not about race, but yet he's making it about race.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, people were comparing it with Kyle Rittenhouse. I've seen some of that happening. I never covered the Kyle Rittenhouse. I kind of wish I did because I didn't know how. It was a huge case. I mean, I just wasn't. I don't know what I was doing at the time. I didn't cover it though. I don't know, man, because the Rittenhouse was at this, that the public protest, the outrest, a lot of, he traveled from somewhere to somewhere else. And Rittenhouse, I think, killed 2 people. I forgot. I don't remember the details. I thought they say they were coming after him. He felt threatened. They were messing with him. I don't know. And the thing too is Karmelo brought this thing to like a school event, a track event, a school event, and he had previous issue allegedly with the school where he allegedly was suspended for bringing a knife to school. So what reasons does he have for bringing a knife to school on different occasions?
coming from, because there's gross negligence in regards to in huge biases. And that's the reason why the Next Generation Action Network has to get involved with it in the beginning, because we are afforded these rights.
How do you feel like the way the media portrayed at the very beginning when this first came out?
I'll say this. Anybody that is putting stuff out here in this case, and this is the reason why the Next Generation Action Network, until that letter that we sent, stayed silent over the weekend while we investigated this case, because we knew that we had a responsibility to ensure that we put out the facts, truth, and that we knew exactly what we are talking about. And I'll just say this.
Both stories cause a lot of racial debate. Jimmy in the chat said, I'm Native American, you are all racist. both of those topics cause a lot of fire and debate over guns and violence and all this stuff. Like I said, I already said the guy has his day in court.
P donated $4.99 through Super Chat. Rittenhouse and Zimmerman both raised over $200K for legal defense. Everyone should just wait for all the facts and evidence to come out.
Thank you for the 5. Well, that's the thing. Like I said earlier in the stream, there are some people that said Karmelo shouldn't be able to fund his defense or bail or whatever they're doing with the money or legal stuff. And that I disagree. I did see there was like a rally to try to get it shut down. I know the GoFundMe was shut down because of the policies that they have, but I do believe he has that right if he wants to do that. And there's a website, and other people have done it. Other people have done the same method on Give, Send, Go.
Media has a responsibility to ensure when you are putting things out on your platform that you are not feeding into some of the racial divides and some of the biases in regards to this case, right? I can't go into the nuances of it or whatever and stuff like that, but I'll just end with this. In an interview that I know that any prosecutor that got a hold of this case wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news.
What?
And it is clear.
Hold on. What? Take that back? You talking about Hunter?
Into on your platform that you are not feeding into some of the racial divides and some of the biases in regards to this case, right? I can't go into the nuances of it or whatever and stuff like that, but I'll just end with this. In an interview that I know that any prosecutor that
John Wolf donated $5 through Super Chat. 3 words, O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson
wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news.
What did he say?
And it is clear. It is clear. In his own words, he stated that Karmelo Anthony said, "Don't put your hands on me." That's it. That's all we hear. Certain things were loosely said. There was certain things that was loosely said in that interview that I just point people to. I don't want to ignite things or try to, speak for his legal defense or whatever it may be, but he stated, y'all, and the hate that was given regarding this case, the bias, that's what has us here today. He should be afforded the same rights that anybody.
He is being afforded the same rights, though. I mean, for all the racism that they're saying that everything is, we're all being oppressed or whatever, there's so much racism, they're almost at 300K. they're doing very well with the fundraising for all the racism and all that stuff and everything that's going on. They're about to hit 300,000. He has lawyers, attorneys, everything that's representing him, and he's alive to tell the story and defend himself or whatever. I mean, I think it's pretty divided, but there is a lot of support for Karmelo. It's not like this, lopsided thing. There is a lot of support. It's a very divided situation, and people disagree. Some agree, some disagree.
That displays that self-defense claim. He should have the right to do those things and say those things. And someone getting mad that he say that, and that's what we're saying it. I didn't see you saying that when Cal hit Rittenhouse. And to say that's not the same is absurd. Self-defense was the claim. And all we're doing is asking people to respect this. We know that there is an unfortunate situation. There is a family that has to prepare for a funeral. There is a family. In the next coming days, I hope that the investigation uncovers some of the truth around this case. And that's why we will fully cooperate with making sure that this investigation is done proper. And we ask that people pray for these families and support and do the things that's necessary needed to ensure that we create a real just society. And if anybody got a problem with what I said today, if anybody who continues to say that race is not a factor, if anybody who continues to say all of these insinuating things that I saw on social media, then you might look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're the problem. You're the reason why we cannot get anywhere when it comes to race. And when we saw this case come out, there were so much rush to judgment and so many things that had to be corrected that we end up finding wasn't true. It was a huge tagline that was said that Austin Metcalf died in the hands of his brother. And it was false.
Really? Okay, hold on. Why, out of all the shit that's been said on the internet, the stuff that's been happening, whatever, why is this the thing that you want to supposedly debunk?
Island Thrifts donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Kyle had an AR-15 he was legally allowed to have. Karmelo had an illegal weapon on school grounds.
True.
He doesn't speak any about the racism directed towards the white side.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. This whole part here, I feel like it's a big slap in the face to the brother that did see Hunter, that saw his brother died. Austin saw him die. And I thought, isn't he the one that said he died in his arms, or was what the media said? Why all the shit? Like, this is the thing you want to come here and like to take away from it. I honestly don't feel. I hear the words sometimes, like it's unfortunate for the other family coming out of his mouth and some of these people, but I really don't feel he feels sorry at all. I feel he hates white people in general. He doesn't feel sorry at all.
To respect this, we know that there is an unfortunate situation. There is a family that has to prepare for a funeral. There is a family. In the next coming days, I hope that the investigation.
And I was going to say too, you don't know how many cases. I mean, we've been here. I'm saying you don't know. We've been here together, right? But there's been so many stories where false information's put out, and it doesn't have to do with a black person. Right? Like, look at, what was it, Gabby Petito? There was a lot of false information with that. Had nothing to do with, the color of the person. I mean, there was stories of black people we've covered and false information, a bunch of stuff. This is not the first rodeo or something that's only exclusive to black people or Latino, brown, whatever the fuck. There was a lot of false information with this story that's still being out. And I've seen things on both sides for sure. But the most viral stuff that I seen was false information, like the white supremacists, the MDMA overdose, the bullying, the people are just running with that, the fake police page that's posting details, fabricated stuff, and that people were just running with.
Uncovers some of the truth around this case, and that's why we will fully cooperate with making sure that this investigation is done proper. And we ask that people pray for these families and support and do the things that's necessary needed to ensure that we create a real just society. And if anybody got a problem with what I said today, if anybody who continues to say that race is not a factor, if anybody who continues to say all of these insinuating things that I saw on social media, then you might look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're the problem. You're the reason why we cannot get anywhere when it comes to race. And when we saw this case come out, there were so much rush to judgment and so many things that had to be corrected that we end up finding wasn't true. It was a huge tagline that was said that Austin Metcalf died in the hands of his brother. And it was false. And we have to be very careful when we report things. We have to be careful when we report things and put things out.
So it's really weird. I mean, I didn't think we'd have to be trying to find out whether he died in his arms or not. He says, this guy's saying it's not true. The reports that I saw, it said that that's what it was. In fact, there was this News Nation article that just came out. It seemed like 20 something minutes ago. This News Nation article, 8:46 Central, so 9:46 Eastern. And they're saying here the two teens got into an altercation. Austin Metcalf died in arms of his twin brother. So I don't know. At the end of the day, is this is this something to hold on to? Is this a hill to, no pun intended, die on? I don't know why this is. Oh, it's not true. Or is he saying that Hunter lied and made it up, or did the media just make it up? New details have emerged about the stabbing that took place during a weather delay at the Texas track meet. One athlete allegedly stabbed another. I don't know why they have to keep saying that. Allegedly stabbed another. It's a fact, right? This is stated in the report. And Karmelo Anthony said it himself. There's no debate about whether he stabbed him or not. I don't understand why it has to be said like that. Maybe just still for legal reasons, even though he said it, I guess. But what led up to the attack is still unclear. A lot of debates. Okay. The accused, Karmelo, had a GoFundMe that raised thousands of legal defense, but the fundraiser has now been removed. Visit Austin Metcalf's family. Victim. Austin Metcalf's family also has a GoFundMe following his death. We know the whole story. News Nation can confirm the Texas FBI investigating who was behind a post that claimed to come from the county medical examiner. Okay. Police have said the report has not been released and the post was not legitimate. The post said that Metcalf died of MDMA. Yeah, we covered this already, kind of mentioned it. And that stabbing was a secondary factor. I don't understand why there's such a campaign either. I've said this before. It seems like just very, very a massive push for just to put out false information Not just this MDMA thing, but the bully thing, that they knew each other, that they, all this stuff that's just heavily being pushed. I didn't see the police report heavily pushed, but they're pushing all this other shit heavily. Regarding the Frisco PD chief imposter post seen on Thursday, Friday last week, I can confirm we are assisting the Frisco PD. So I don't know. Hopefully they find out who and what, or if it's multiple people or whatever, putting out on either side false information, especially like documents like that, like the whole, coroner report.
Because we live in a day and age where social media runs rapid. And so the next step for the next generation.
His dad said it first on the video. Okay. Oh, you're right. Austin's dad said it. Did Hunter say it himself too? Hunter said it himself. I don't know if Hunter said it. Maybe he said it too.
Action Network is that we will continue to work with this family to ensure that their rights are protected. We will continue to work with their attorneys to support this self-defense claim. And my thing is this: our decision to stand in solidarity with the Anthony family. If you don't like it, then God bless you. But if we call ourselves a human and civil rights organization, we believe wholeheartedly that Karmelo Anthony reserves the right to be able to be afforded the same treatment that any of his white counterparts are given in America. And if this is not the America that can afford him those same rights, then I believe that what black people in America have been saying for over 400 years is correct. Yeah. Thank you.
We're living probably in the best time ever, maybe. I don't know. Where you can do stuff. I mean, look at me. Look at what I do. I'm a streamer. I stream. This is my source of income. I have other little, I guess Facebook or sponsor crap or whatever. I shouldn't say crap, but in what world could you do some shit like this? Oh yeah, I'm streaming, I'm hanging out with people, we're talking about news, different topics, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's amazing. And Karmelo they're almost at $300,000. They have a lot of support. Okay, it's not like, Karmelo stabbed someone in the heart. Now he's saying self-defense. Okay, somebody's dead. Now you're going through the process. And you have a whole lot of support. And he is getting, just like his white counterparts or whatever else, he's going to get his team, his defense, financial support, financial means. It's not like he's not getting, what he needs, unless there's something, I don't know. It's been a massive outrage. It's, I don't know. It's really messed up story, messed up situation, controversial, all the race stuff and all that. And I hope that we get down to the bottom. Hopefully we get the full, the truth and what exactly happened. And if hopefully they're able to bring up what happened before, And so they want a reduction in the $1 million bond. And they also want the murder charge, lowered or dropped to something else. So it will be, I hope they stream it. It will be an interesting trial. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I wonder about that, releasing the video. I don't know if maybe they can censor it, or maybe they can just stop it right before. That would be interesting to see the video. This guy said there's video. Maybe that would help the public a little bit. They don't have to, but it might help the public a bit to see or hear some of that conversation, behavior, you know, what exactly happened right before, you know. So I wish he would have been able to get some more questions in though. Like with police, as for some of the other stuff about like I think the one thing he clarified is that they didn't know each other. But like, okay, what about the bullying? I guess maybe he can't speak to that. That would not be good for the case if he said, "Oh, there wasn't bullying." That wouldn't work for the legal case.
We have a
I mean, jeez. I never really curious what your take on Trayvon Martin. I never followed that case either. To be honest with you, I never covered it. I always heard of it. I don't know. I'd have to watch the videos and read some of the articles. I forget. I don't remember the guy's name. I could see that Zimmerman, right? Zimmerman's the guy that killed him. I thought Zimmerman though was pretty shitty. Didn't he like sell the murder weapon on like eBay or something like that? All I remember is just like that. I don't know. He was walking in a neighborhood and he approached him. But I don't know the premise of the story. I don't know the details. I don't know the trial. I don't know anything. George Zimmerman, born 1983, an American man who fatally shot Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African American in Sanford, Florida, on February 26, 2012. In 2013, he was acquitted of second-degree murder, Florida versus George Zimmerman. If they have a documentary, I'd watch a documentary. I'd probably check out if I could find it. I'm sure they probably have some type of documentary on it. After his acquittal, Zimmerman was the target of a shooting. Oh, interesting. The perpetrator was convicted of attempted murder. I didn't know that. They tried to take Zimmerman out. Okay, after. Interesting. Zimmerman identifies as Hispanic. Zimmerman's family was known for being devoutly religious. He was raised as a Catholic and served as an altar boy from the age of 7 to 17. Okay, moved to Florida. I mean, what was his reason? What happened? Why did he approach Trayvon? Okay. So on February 26, 2012, Zimmerman fatally shot 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in the retreat at Twin Lakes community in Sanford, Florida. Zimmerman was the neighborhood watch coordinator in his gated community. Okay, see, these details, I don't know anything about this. I never covered it. I don't know nothing about it. But yes, so he was supposedly this watch coordinator, and I guess this was in his gated community. Martin was temporarily staying there at the time. I didn't know that either. Because I remember when the story first came out, I thought, I don't know, they made it seem like he was just walking there. He didn't belong there or something. I don't know. But apparently he says he was temporarily staying there at the time. The Twin Lakes Neighborhood Watch Program was not registered with the National Neighborhood Watch Program, but was administered by the local police department. Following an earlier call from Zimmerman, police arrived within 2 minutes of a gunshot during an altercation in which Zimmerman fatally shot Martin, who did not possess any weapons. Zimmerman was subsequently taken into custody, treated for his head injuries, and questioned for 5 hours. He was released, but there was no evidence to refute Zimmerman's claim of having acted in self-defense. Also, there was nobody there. Nobody saw anything. On the Florida Stand Your Ground statute, the police were prohibited by law from making an arrest. The police chief said Zimmerman had a right to defend himself with lethal force. As the news of the case spread, thousands of protesters across the United States called Zimmerman's arrest and full investigation. 6 weeks after the shooting, amid widespread intense and, in some cases, misleading media coverage, Zimmerman was charged with murder by a special prosecutor appointed by Governor Rick Scott. The trial began in 2013. He was acquitted of the charges. I wonder what happened there. He was acquitted of second-degree murder and manslaughter. For 3 years, the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, investigated Zimmerman on civil rights charges. The DOJ concluded there was insufficient evidence. Wow. that Zimmerman intentionally violated civil rights of Martin. That's weird. So there's like nobody really to say what exactly happened. He called, Trayvon was shot, and it's just his word. There's no it seems like there's no witness accounts, no video or anything. Car accident rescue. On July 17, 2013, 4 days after the trial, Zimmerman and another man helped rescue a family of 4 out of their vehicle after a single car accident. Domestic violence arrest. In 2013, Zimmerman's estranged wife called 911 to report Zimmerman had assaulted her father and was threatening her with a gun. Zimmerman was not charged over the incident. In November the same year, Zimmerman was charged with felony aggravated assault after he allegedly pointed a shotgun at his girlfriend during a domestic violence incident. The case was later dropped. In January 2015, Zimmerman was charged again with domestic assault after allegedly throwing a wine bottle at a different girlfriend. Again, charges were later dropped. Wow. What is up with this dude? On September 9, 2014, Zimmerman was named by police in a road rage incident in which another driver later named by police as Matthew Apperson claimed Zimmerman followed and threatened him. Zimmerman later claimed in a testimony that Apperson approached him over a rear tire leaking air, which Zimmerman was already aware of. He had explained this to Apperson before Apperson asked Zimmerman if he knew he was wrong for killing that little black boy. Zimmerman lost Apperson after the two stopped at the gas station, and Zimmerman drove off. On May 11, 2015, Apperson shot at Zimmerman while the two were driving in separate cars. Zimmerman was grazed by a glass and metal shards. Okay. When the bullet broke the passenger side window and was stopped by the metal window frame, causing minor facial injuries from flying glass and debris, Zimmerman was flagged down by a police officer and was taken to the hospital. Apperson maintained that Zimmerman was the aggressor and that Apperson acted in self-defense. Zimmerman also had a gun with him at the time of the incident, but Zimmerman's attorney said that George absolutely denies having shown it, waved, displayed it, or pointed. On May 15, 2015, Apperson was jailed in Sanford, Florida with a $35,000 bond. While free on bond, Apperson was convicted in jail for disorderly conduct, resulting in his bond being revoked. Lake Mary Police Department learned that Apperson has exhibited unusual behaviors in which he had recently been admitted to a mental institution. It appears that Apperson has a fixation on Zimmerman and has displayed some signs of paranoia and anxiety and bipolar disorder. September 22, 2015, a judge ruled Apperson would stand trial for second-degree attempted murder along with 1 count of aggravated assault and 1 count of shooting into an occupied vehicle. Apperson was convicted of attempted murder and aggravated assault with a firearm on September 16, 2016. He was sentenced to 20 years. Wow. Paintings. December 2013, Zimmerman began selling paintings he made. His first painting of an American flag sold for $100,000 on eBay. On the auction page for the painting, Zimmerman wrote, "Everyone has been asking what I've been doing with myself. I found a creative way to express myself, my emotions, and symbols that represent my experiences. My artwork allows me to reflect, providing a therapeutic outlet that allows me to remain indoors." Okay. In 2015 August, Zimmerman began selling a limited number of prints of a painting of a Confederate flag in conjunction with a gun seller, Andy Heilman, in Florida Gun Supply. He's had Twitter scandals. He has a long-ass history of stuff. On May 11, 2016, Zimmerman posted what was planned to be the auction of the firearm he used to shoot Martin. The post in which Zimmerman wrote that the gun was an American firearm icon attracted controversy. Zimmerman subsequently explained that the Justice Department had recently returned the weapon to him. He said that he had the right as an owner to sell it. Zimmerman said the proceeds of the weapon would go to combating violence against police officers by members of the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as ensure the demise of Angela Corey's persecution career and Hillary Clinton's anti-firearm rhetoric. After selling the weapon, Zimmerman said that he had chosen it to sell it directly as a result of Clinton stumping around for a false campaign for the Trayvon Martin Foundation. Damn, he's had a bunch of stuff, yo. This thing's like a long ass thing. Nancy Grace. I'm gonna check on Nancy Grace. The guy seems to have a lot of issues. Zimmerman. I didn't know Nancy Grace covered him. A lot of issues, domestic violence issues. I mean, I guess that one guy was like a person with mental issues. The one guy he encountered on the road. I don't know. That's kind of scary too, man. That things could happen and there's no witnesses, and so there's just no account. Like people have gotten up. Like look at the Florida case. Right? That was it. Florida. That one kid that like killed his dad and then killed his mother. Oh, it was self-defense. And then the kid and the mother were having a bunch of problems before she died, and the cops came out and they said, if you don't do something, you're gonna die. And then she's dead, and he got acquitted both times. What the? And he's had lawsuits too. Zimmerman seems like a lot of problems. He seems like a very problematic person. I don't know this guy or whatever, but just damn, looking at his history. I wonder if his ego too got like the best of him. Like, oh, I'm neighborhood watch. You know, like, oh no, I'm here. Between the shooting of Trayvon Martin and the trial, Zimmerman gained 100 to 125 pounds in a 16-month period. He gained over 300 pounds at the trial. So I wonder what happened with it. Did they ever interview the jury? Zimmerman had witnesses? Oh. I wonder if it was one of those things where, so they had witnesses for the trial? Because I wonder if that was one of the things where, one of those cases where there's just no witnesses, not enough, like beyond a reasonable doubt type of thing. All right. Well, I guess that's it. I'm going to jump off for now. Thank you guys so much for tonight. That's my cousin. I'm going to call it for tonight. I don't know if I'm going to do the gaming tonight. I might, maybe for a little Last of Us on the gaming channel. I might jump on for a little bit in an hour. But yeah, tonight's been kind of busy. We've had a lot of stuff tonight. We'll see tomorrow if we can update things to update. I guess the Virginia. See if they catch the shooter or shooters. We covered the autistic person, 17-year-old that was shot 9 times. The coach that was arrested for the murder and essay of this 13-year-old and apparently another teenager. Bounced around quite a bit. Manhunt. Okay. Stand your ground is how he won. Okay. Shit, the GoFundMe has enough for private security, just saying. They can have exclusive security and people cooking at the house and everything. Hey, look, it says police release photos of believed shooters. We're talking about this for a while now, but these guys here in the masks, okay? These guys here, what's their deal? And the other thing too, the reporter had said that he believed they had heard something about a gun deal. What's up with that? All right, I love you guys, man. Take care. Be safe. I thought about it. I know. I didn't get to cover the Dominican Republic roof collapse. I talked to my mother a little bit about it when she came by, and she was like, "Oh my God, maybe tomorrow at some point we can update it and talk about it." The story.